Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here with you tonight. We're here in Youngstown, Ohio, and you're probably wondering why I'm here in Youngstown, Ohio. I was not available to be on the air last week to do The Way I See It or any of my shows in connection with RW Media. The reason for that is because my nephew, Sean Negley Jr., is in a hospital down here in Youngstown, Ohio. He's involved in a serious car crash, and he's in ICU right now. He's in serious condition, but I think we're going to, I'm praying, and the prayers are out there that he pulls through. Tonight's show is dedicated to Sean Negley Jr., my nephew. And also, I want to dedicate tonight's show also to El Vento Jr. And, you know, in case those of you don't know who El Vento is the former owner of Vento's Pizza. As you know, Saturday was the last day of Vento's Pizza, and he's been the owner there. They've been there for 70 years. El Vento himself, he said he's been there 67 years. So I just wanted to let you know that El Vento's Pizza went out of business on Saturday, and it was a big staple in East Liberty for the longest time. And, you know, I want to say tonight's show is dedicated to him as well and to my nephew, who is in critical condition as I'm here broadcasting live from Youngstown, Ohio, here on The Way I See It tonight. And as we're live on our regular platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Also, we are in the DJ Fun Portable Mobile Studios here in Youngstown, Ohio. Call DJ Fun today, 412-545-4317 for all your DJ needs, parties, weddings, and also special events. Make sure you give DJ Fun a call today, 412-545-4317. All right. Tonight we have our blast segment, and we're going to get started with, as usual, Pittsburgh Public Schools. You know, Pittsburgh Public Schools has a school teacher whose name I'm not going to mention tonight, who actually decided it was involved in sexual conduct. All right. So, I'm blasting this teacher tonight with the Pittsburgh Public Schools for being involved in sexual conduct. Shame on you, because you know why? You're making these teachers that teach in the school system look bad. Okay, you shouldn't have done it in the first place, and you should never have even thought about even doing it at all. So you know what? That's why I'm blasting you tonight here on The Way I See It, and that is the way I see it. Next, the person who rear-ended a horse and buggy in Mercer County. You know what? Shame on you. Shame on you for that truck driver who decided to speed and rear-end a horse and buggy. You know what? What is your thinking? Because the horse and buggies are up in that area, New Wilmington, Mercer County, and all that stuff. You know, they're all up in there. Why would you even consider even trying to do that? Let me guess. You were on a cell phone. Let me guess. You were listening to the radio. Let me guess. It was something other than paying attention to the road. That is the way I see it tonight. Next, the eminent domain for the packaging company on the north side. The city ought to be ashamed of themselves. This packaging company has been there for many, many years. And then all of a sudden now you want to start a situation where you are trying to run this company out through eminent domain. And you know what? I hope this company sues you. I hope they go after you legally. And, you know, I want to tell you just a brief, small story before we get into about eminent domain. One time, and this was a true story, Tom Murphy was mayor, okay? And what had happened was he was trying to get some property up near Frick Park, or in where the Frick Estates are up there off of the high-level bridge there, okay? And the reason I say this is because what had happened was Tom Murphy decided to attack this 96-year-old man who owned this property with eminent domain. And here's the thing. He wasted the city's time and money and on legal fees, and the fact that this guy decided to sue, and he won in court because they were trying to go after him for eminent domain. If Tom Murphy would have been nice to the man and said, okay, fine, how about we would like to buy your property? You know what he said? He said, I would have bought the property. He would have bought the property, but he didn't. And you know why he didn't? He didn't buy the property because it's real simple. He didn't like the way he was being treated by the city as far as the eminent domain goes. And that tonight is the way I see it. Next, Norfolk Southern. You know, Norfolk Southern, you've come up with more excuses than anything in regards to East Palestine, Ohio. And now you have a derailment in Springfield yet. And you're coming up on TV, on national television, and saying, well, we here at Norfolk Southern, our goal is to keep people safe. Well, if everybody's so safe, then why in the world do we have another train derailment in Ohio? Explain that to me, Norfolk Southern. Because I don't think you can, and I'm blasting you again tonight for this nonsense in East Palestine, Ohio. Shame on you for this. Shame on you for Springfield, Ohio. That is the way I see it tonight. Next, McKeesport and the other Mon Valley communities. Now, the last show 2 weeks ago, I spoke about this Mon Valley gang, okay? Nothing has been done about it because we have continued violence in McKeesport and in the Mon Valley. My question today is, where are all these government officials? Where are these mayors? Where are these commissioners? Where are these county people? Where are these people that represent the Mon Valley that do something about this violence? Okay. McKeesport's mayor, you should be doing something about your community. What you need to do is set a precedent. Set it for the rest of the communities. Give them strength. Give them guts. Give them balls. Give them something in order to, all right, do you see what I'm saying? Give them guts, give them balls, give them something so that they'll do the same thing that you're doing. And I told you what to do. Call the FBI, call the county sheriff's department, call the state police, call the National Guard's gang task force through Governor Shapiro, okay? Call those people and give them, and tell them, hey, I need help. We need help. We want to bust up this gang here in the Mon Valley. In order to do it, you're going to have to somehow or another step up and do something. And believe me when I tell you, programs don't work. Curfews don't work. Nothing works. You want what works? Start arresting some of these people. Charge them with federal charges. Okay? All right? Bust up this gang. That is the way I see it tonight. All right. That was our blast segment tonight for you. Next is our bonehead segment. And in our bonehead segment tonight, we have the students at BYU who try to cook a rocket fuel and caused a fire. Oh, my gosh. Really? Seriously now? I mean, really? Oh, man. It's just terrible. Next, the cruise ship employee who got fired for filming females in the bathroom. That was really a boneheaded deal. Again, here we are with another boneheaded decision. Unbelievable. Next, the lady who stole 8 credit cards and used them to go on a cruise and ended up getting arrested. Oh my, are you a bonehead? Wow. It's bad out there, folks. I'll tell you about all these boneheads. Next, our next and last bonehead of the night, the college student who got arrested for peeing on a passenger on an American Airlines flight. Are you kidding me? Really? Oh my gosh. All right. Next, we're going to do, which we should have done at the beginning, but I got into too much stuff. And this is what happens when you're off a week. But I had to be because I had to take care of family business in regards to my nephew, Sean Negley Jr., whose tonight's show is dedicated to. And if you just joined us on the show tonight, it's because of his, he was involved in a car wreck and he was in critical condition. He's now down to serious condition. And it's looking like it's pretty good. A lot of prayers out there, church. Everybody's praying for him. And I want you to pray for him as well. Next, mutual assistance in despair will make an ugly situation more fair. And that is tonight's Chinese wisdom. All right. Tonight's Chinese wisdom, bonehead and blast. All tonight here on The Way I See It. If you're a new watcher to The Way I See It, we're here every Monday night at 7 p.m. And also, coming up soon, as soon as I get some things straightened out here, I am going to be putting on a radio show version of The Way I See It, possibly on AM 620 KHB. That's coming real soon. So don't forget to tune into that as well. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody, get the popcorn and sodas ready, because we are, the way I see it, we are here on Monday night, 7 p.m. Some announcements coming up toward the end of the show as to my other RW Media shows coming up this week as well. Also, I want to send a shout out to Smoking Jim Frazier. Some prayers for him. He's in the hospital as well with I'm not sure what the diagnosis is on him, but I do know he's in the hospital right now. And please pray for him. My co-host on Sports Corner, Talking Wrestling and Wrestle Talk on Blog Talk Radio as well. All right, tonight's life story. Tonight, we are going to be called, this is going to be called the Youngstown, Ohio edition of The Way I See It. We are here live in Youngstown, Ohio. My nephew was involved in a car wreck. His name is Sean Negley Jr. Him and some of his friends on Sunday, it was his 18th birthday. He was taking him home. They had stayed over at a friend's house. They were at a party for Sean. And the steering wheel locked up in the car, and the car basically was involved in a rollover crash. He lost control of the vehicle, had some issues with it. So he is in serious condition right now down here at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio. I had to come down last week here, and I want to say this hospital that he is in, they're taking very good care of him as far as the ICU unit goes. Now, anything else in this hospital is horrible. All right. And we're going to start with the cafeteria. I went to the cafeteria on Friday and got fish sandwiches. Okay. I get down there, and this lady goes like this. She says, "What do you want? What do you want?" And I'm saying to myself, really? So, I basically had to get fish for my mom and my wife. So instead of telling her to separate everything and put the sides and everything else, she put all the sides in one, the whole thing of sides inside one container and the fish in another. And based on the fact that, that this lady had this bad attitude, I was not about to ask her to do anything else for me. All right. So I ran into a medical situation. I had to get my needles for my needle pens that I take. In case you're not aware, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm also diabetic. For my needle pens to take my insulin shots. Well, it turns out that the pharmacy downstairs said they couldn't do it without a doctor's approval. Well, first, they didn't tell me that until my wife went down there to go get them. Okay. So she comes back up. She tells me that we're back upstairs from the pharmacy. We're up in the waiting room up in ICU. Okay. That lady's a trip too. All right. As they say. All right. People in this hospital, just like anything else, they have this attitude, don't care, don't know. Some of them have bad attitudes, but the escort people, I had a guy named Jeff and a woman named Mary, very nice people. They escort, they push me up to the waiting room and so on and so forth. Nice people in the back in the ICU unit, nurses, doctors, very nice, very informative, very good people. All right. It's just the lady that's the reception for that, horrible attitude. The lady that says, at the cafeteria where they sold fish at, because they had separate sections with different things like fish, burgers, pizza, that kind of thing in her cafeteria. And the cashier was nice too, but that lady, "What do you want? What do you want?" Well, anyway, so other than that, that was the story. Well, getting back to this, my wife goes down to the pharmacy, talks to a lady there. This blonde lady there laughs and giggles. What really bothers me, everyone, is when people laugh at somebody when they're upset. Okay? Let me ask you something. How would you like it if you were upset? And I stood there and I laughed at you. Is that funny? No, I don't think it's funny at all. Because obviously when someone's upset about something, I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's funny that he's upset because maybe he's upset about something he shouldn't be upset about. No, I'm upset about something that's reality. Okay? And I had this happen to me at the airport. I was upset with the TSA agent who stole something from my wife. And then I called him a thief. and he tried to tell me he's not a thief. Okay, now, first of all, my wife is partially handicapped as well. All right. So tell me something. How could I'm fully handicapped, she's partially handicapped. How could two people take something back to their vehicle when it was valeted and you don't know where it was valeted to? Okay. Because we use valet at the airport. So there's 2 hours left before our flight takes off. What makes anyone think that my wife's going to take something all the way back to the vehicle? So I called the TSA guy a thief, and I was angry with him. So I got this knucklehead standing behind me, and he starts, he's cracking up laughing. Some young kid, you know how some young kids are today. All he was doing was cracking. And I says to him, "Do you really think this is funny? What happens if it happened to you? Do you really think that this is a joke? Because if it's so funny to you, why are you there laughing? What makes you think this is hilarious?" So this woman's laughing, okay? Made my wife get even more upset. So this lady down there says to her, when she went down after everything was approved to go pick it up, "Oh, I sent it to Walgreens over on Belmont Avenue." And I'm like, "Well, why?" So I went down to go talk to this woman, and she says to me, "Well, your wife had a bad attitude." I said, "Oh, my wife has a bad attitude. Well, let me ask you this question." And she said she had been in this hospital. She doesn't need to tolerate this. Okay. So if everybody that comes into the hospital has a bad attitude, then what does that mean? That means everybody that gets kicked out of the hospital because they have a bad attitude, but it's all right for you to have a bad attitude, would die. Am I right? Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? This hospital now that my nephew's in. Again, the ICU people, very nice. Doctors, very nice people. Then it was 3 big potholes, and I called administration. Do you know all these people that drove in there, these potholes were huge. You could have tore an axle or a tire off. Okay. I called administration and complained. But what bothers me is all these people that come through this main entrance and they hit these potholes. Why didn't they call administration? Okay. Do you see? This is what I get at when I tell you that nobody cares. All right. Then somebody's axle would have got, damaged or whatever. And then all of a sudden, okay, I got to pay $1,000 at my axle and my tire fixed because I hit a pothole and because I was dumb and stupid enough that I really didn't want to call administration to complain. Yeah, that's you, the crying person who would have lost their axle on their tire and would have lost their tire and their CV joint and the tie rod and the whole thing attached there because you didn't want to take 2 seconds because you didn't care enough to call about the potholes. I made 1 phone call. 1. And guess what? They were patched. Do you know they told me I was the first person to call and complain? And the employee that answered the phone told me she didn't know about it because she don't go around the main entrance. She parks in the employee lot, which is a mile up the road, and you have to take a shuttle. Okay, just like you do with UPMC, and you have to with, Allegheny General and whoever else. Okay. All right. So this is the story of my first week in Youngstown, Ohio. This is my second week. Now, my first week, another thing happened. I was told the Baymont Hotel was a great place to stay. So this lady tells me this at the hospital. So we all go to Baymont Hotel. I called, I asked for a handicap room. Now I get this guy who is of foreign descent, doesn't speak very good English. Okay. And he's trying to call me a liar. And the one thing I can't tolerate is when somebody calls me a liar, because I'm not. Okay. I am not a liar. All right. So for you to go ahead and do that, there's something wrong with you. All right. Yeah, somebody called me a liar at that hotel. So then he tells me that the handicap room has bed bugs. So my mom and my wife and I said, we did a fast 360 and said, we're getting out of here. I'm not staying in no room in this hotel at all. Okay. So there was some fighting between my mom and this desk clerk about putting money back into her account that he took out. And it's there. It's back in the account. The bank confirmed it. It's there. All right. This Baymont Hotel was really, really bad with their attitude. So we ended up staying in the Comfort Suites. Okay. We called Hampton Inn first. They were booked. Then we called Comfort Suites. They had a room for us till Saturday. And then if we decided that we were going to stay Sunday and all into this week, we wouldn't be able to get a room anywhere in town because there's a dance recital going on all over the city. I don't know where it is. I think it's at they have what they call an expo center, like they used to have in Monroeville, the expo center. Well, that's what they have here at Expo Center. So the expo center is basically, where they have some events. So I'm assuming that's where this was. It was so bad, my wife called the DoubleTree in downtown Youngstown, and we couldn't even get a room there. All right. And downtown Youngstown doesn't look too bad these days. It's nice. It's been cleaned up a little bit. And, not a problem at all. We went around the university, drove around a little bit. This week, we're going to visit Schwabel's Bakery. Phantom Fireworks' corporate headquarters is down here as well. Okay. We're going to check out some sites a little bit while we're here, even though there's not much to check out here in Youngstown. There really isn't. Okay. It's the corporate headquarters for Huntington Bank. All right. Schwabel's is down here. Bakery, Schwabel's Bread. Phantom Fireworks, their corporate headquarters is down here. Okay. But there's not too much else in Youngstown here. This has been a depressed city for many, many years. And it's so bad that the hotels now here are renting out to people who need a place to stay. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm in between apartments, or my landlord is fixing my apartment, or I'm in but pay a monthly fee and stay in one of these hotels. That's what they're doing here. All right. All right. Also, Jimmy's Italian Deli. I'll tell you what, if you ever come to Youngstown, come to Jimmy's on Belmont. Very good food. Okay. But warn you, it's cafeteria style. You go, you pick up your food. It's already prepared. It's under a hot heater. You can have it heated up for you or whatever. Okay. They have homemade sandwiches that they make, homemade meatballs, cheese, bread. It's very good there. The pizza, the sauce was a little tough. It's another Beato's, just a simple square pizza that's made, threw together with some jars or some canned sauce, and that was it. Okay. Nothing fancy. All right. Next, I had to cancel all my shows last week because of this. We didn't know where this was going. So as you see this week, I am doing them live from Youngstown, Ohio. I'll be doing all my shows live this week up until Saturday. I'll be here. I'm not sure if I'll be back next week or not, but if so, I'll be back again next week here at Youngstown, Ohio, until we find out what's going on with my nephew, and my sister needs me, and my mom wants to come down here. So it's basically a family affair here and resolves to my nephew. All right. And still working on the radio show as far as, trying to get it going, trying to get some sponsors, trying to get a lot of, that going on. And, it's tough out there. A lot of businesses now don't have the money to spend, but they'll spend big money on other places, but they won't spend money to help me out with my show. Because, see, I'm trying to get on the radio, everyone, because the radio stations left me out in the wind. They don't like this show because I tell it like it is. They don't want that. Okay? They don't want that at all. They want me to, to do this. No, I'm not doing that. Okay? I am not doing that. And that's why KDK don't want me. And that's why DG Morning Show and the JAS people are doing the same thing that KDK is doing. Nobody wants to think outside the box in Pittsburgh. Nobody. Okay. What I want is a national channel, syndicated channel to pick me up, pick this show up, this program. Why? Because I want to show everybody in Pittsburgh that I'm better than you. Like MJF says on AEW Wrestling, I'm better than you and you know it. I'm better than all these media types in Pittsburgh, and they know it. But their bosses don't want to hire me because they don't like the way I see it. They don't like the way I tell it like it is. They don't like the way I say things. They don't like the way I criticize people. They don't like I only do that when I have to. This is a decent show. People don't, get upset about it. The only ones who get upset are the ones that I blast. The only ones that don't want to come on my show are the ones who are scared. The only ones that don't want to come on my show are the ones who don't like me because I say things about people. Okay? Oh, I'm afraid he's going to say something about me. Oh, and also, I ask tough questions. And there's a lot of people that don't want to come on here. Oh, and also because it don't fit their schedule. But I have a show called Ralph Williams One-on-One, which suits them properly, and they don't even want to come on that show. See what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm going on the radio, to prove to everybody in Pittsburgh that I'm better than you. And I am. I am. Something big time. I'm better than you. I'm better than all you media people in Pittsburgh. Okay? Hi, this is KDKA. Hi, I'm Harry Browser. Let's talk about some trivia tonight. No, I'm here to tell it like it is. I'm here to tell it the way I see it. And that's the way I'm always going to be. Okay? And if it's tough for me to get sponsors for the radio to show, that's fine. God will put me in a good place. He always does. All right. Tonight's key topics, we're going to talk real quick about the closing of Vento's Pizza. I spoke to El Vento, on my Ralph Williams One-on-One show. Archive it on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way. I need 11 more subscribers to hit 100. 11. 11's easy. Come on, folks. 11. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody. Tell them to subscribe to RW Media and my shows, all of them, including the ones I do with Smoke and Jim Frazier. And they're here in the DJ Fun Studios. All right. All right. Another mall or retail area having a curfew. Robinson Mall is having a curfew now. It's actually not a curfew. It's actually a rule. You can't come into the mall after 6 p.m. without a parent if you're under the age of 18. Okay? Apparently, they're having issues too, but it's not as bad as the waterfront. And in case you're not aware, I spoke about this 2 weeks ago, and I criticized the waterfront for doing this because I'm all over the mayors, as I blasted earlier today, and the commissioners and the board people or whomever, the councils in Homestead, Munhall, Whitaker, Duquesne, McKeesport, all these people that are having these issues with this Mon Valley gang, and you've done nothing. Nothing. Not a thing. Okay? So the waterfront had to take action and hurt businesses that rely on kids to come there. And now kids might not be able to come there because their parents might work second shift. Okay? Instead of the mayors, which you didn't do anything when the waterfront was built. You didn't expand your police force. You complained and you cried about it. Instead of working together with all the police forces in the waterfront, you said, I'm not going to go to the Steak and Shake because that's in Whitaker's area. Let them deal with it. Do you catch what I'm saying? This is why the Mon Valley is the way it is. That's why these communities are the way they are. That's why in North Braddock we're having issues. That's why in Braddock we're having issues. That's why there's all these communities were having big time problems. And it's because of this gang. But nobody wants to do anything about it. That's the whole problem. And that's why this year, 2023, the theme for the way I see it is nobody cares, because no one does. If they did, they would do something. They do nothing. Okay? Not a thing at all. And now Robinson has to come up with something too. And they're doing it for a safety net so that these problems don't happen. And that's smart. That really is. That's really smart. Okay? And that's exactly the way I see it tonight. That is a smart way of doing things. And I'm sorry, I meant to get back to El Vento. Vento's Pizza has been a staple in East Liberty for over 70 years. El Vento started back in the day, and if you listen to and watch the interview that I did on Ralph Williams one-on-one on my archive version on my YouTube channel, just pop up Ralph Williams one-on-one, and you can listen and watch the episode that I interviewed him in regards not only just to Vento's Pizza, but to Franco's Italian Army. And at the time, Franco had just passed away. All right. So check it out. All right. But I'm happy that El Vento Jr. is now finally being able to retire. All these years of being in the pizza business, he never really had an opportunity to be around his kids. He even admitted that. He says, now I'm going to retire and I can help be around my grandkids. And that's great. Okay. Vento's Pizza was such an inspiration. It was East Liberty. Okay. Have you seen East Liberty lately? I mean, it's all glamored up. It's all brand new. But Vento's was the one that stood there the most. Sears went out of business. Everybody went out of business. And Bob O'Connor did everything he could and finally got it done to keep Vento's Pizza where it was, the late Mayor Bob O'Connor. All right. Ed Gainey grew up with Vento's Pizza. Anybody that went to Peabody, the old Peabody High School pizza. I lived in Bloomfield. I wasn't far from East Liberty. I grew up with Vento's Pizza. Okay. When I was little, my late grandma used to take me shopping in East Liberty. Back in the day, East Liberty, Northside, downtown were the places to be. Not anymore. Northside, forget about it. Allegheny Center Mall is Nova Place now. And forget about downtown. It's still, I hear it's getting better. People are saying it's getting safer now. Now I got the police on horseback. All right. Finally, somebody took some action in downtown now. So that means all the criminals, degenerates, meatheads, and homeless people can all go somewhere else and loaf and cause problems and make crime. All right. So what is the Mon Valley, as I mentioned before, going to do about this gang? Nothing. Nobody cares. That's why. That's the way I see it tonight. All right, the county executive race. Few folks here, three people who I believe could probably, 4 people actually, who probably would make it with this race. There's 6 Democrats. 4 of them, here's the 4 that I think are actually going to compete and do well. All right, and that's Michael Lamb, John Weinstein, Sarah Iron, and Dave Fawcett. Now, in case you don't know, Dave Fawcett is a lawyer. He was once a county councilman, so he knows his way around county government. All right. John Weinstein is our county treasurer and also the guy with the dog licenses. He's a decent guy. He's a family man. Understands about jobs of the future, like an Allegheny County of the future, and he wants to make us safe. Okay, but there's a difference between wanting to make people safe and actually doing it. If you're going to make people safe, you got to stop this. Well, I think we need to come up with some programs. I think if we get into the community and we have a march, I think that might work. I think if we take the gangs and we put them together and have a little summit, I think that might work too. No, it's not going to work. Okay. My plan does work. And you need to go back to my archive shows. So I'm not going to explain it anymore tonight. All right. But anyway, I think Michael Lamb, he was the city controller for a long time. Okay. I think he can do a good job as the county treasurer, or the county executive, excuse me. Weinstein, Sarah Inarado. Here's the problem I have with Sarah Inarado. Her aide or her manager, or whatever this person is to her, I asked her if she if I could interview her, either here or on Ralph Williams One-on-One. I sent archive versions. I told them where to go and I'll look at this stuff. Never got back to me. You see, this is the ignorance that's me, that I get. Now, do you get this ignorance? I want you to tell me tonight, those of you who can. All right. Tell me if you get this ignorance. Hide behind email, not returning your phone call. Don't even give you the time of day. All right. But you'll go on the other station because they kiss your butt. You won't come on with me because I don't kiss your butt. I don't kiss nobody's butt. Okay. I say the way I see it. And that's why we're here. It's because it's the way I see it. And it's going to continue, whether it be on these 4 platforms, on the radio, maybe and on TV. I'm still on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable in Allegheny County on a rotating basis. So there's going to be 3 ways in order for you to watch. Here, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, TV or radio. All right? And if you don't participate at all, then shame on you. All right? Because I'm the new voice of Pittsburgh. I'm the guy who tells it like it is, and I'm not afraid to. There was once a woman who was doing it too, but they got her out. You're not going to get me out because I don't need you. Jake says, "Will the Penguins make the playoffs this year?" No, maybe. I don't think so. If they do, it'll be real lucky. It'll be a squeaky thinger, Jake. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Sports Corner. All right, but thank you for watching. All right, next, and that's the way I see it about county executive race. Next, another train derailment, and now in Springfield, Ohio. All right. So tell me something. Is Norfolk Southern full of crap? Yeah. They lied to East Palestine. They're lying to Springfield, Ohio. They said their objective is to keep people safe. And then you have Pete Buttigieg on there going, blah, blah, blah. We need to keep people safe. Yeah, the railroad needs to be held accountable. Well, let's start doing something. Let's quit talking. Okay? Now, there's a difference between talk and doing something. Talk is cheap. Doing something is expensive. So that's why nobody really does anything, because it's expensive. Okay? But talk is cheap. So you can talk all you want and it's cheap. You see? Okay? Have you ever heard of that? Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. But see, actions are expensive. Talk is cheap. You can talk all you want for free, but then you have to pay for something, or you might have egg on your face, or you might, drop the ball on something if you decide to say what's right and what's true. Norfolk Southern has been lying through this whole scenario. East Palestine, they've been lying to Springfield. They're lying to Springfield now. They've been lying to the government, lying to their employees. How in the world do you justify saying that your main thing every time you come on is to keep people safe? But then we have another derailment here, another derailment there, another derailment there, another locomotive going off the tracks because of a mechanical problem. But our objective is to keep people safe. Safe. Give me an S, give me an A, give me an F, give me an E. It's safe. Safe. No, it's not safe, Norfolk Southern. You need to make it safe. And Buttigieg, you need to go after these people. Okay? Buttigieg, you need to go find these people and you need to haul them to the carpet. But you won't do that because you work for our president who's weak, Joe Biden. The man I voted for, and I'm sorry I did, but I told you why I voted for him. Because I got tired of President Trump acting like a third grader. And I didn't like what he did in January of 2021 during the inauguration of the swearing in. I didn't like it. That stuff at the Capitol was uncalled for. And here's a guy who preaches America, who preaches he loves his country, but then he's going to go ahead and cause this kind of a problem? Right. Try to have a coup at the Capitol. Try to take people hostages, walking into people's offices. You knew national security and the security there was terrible. You knew what was going on, President Trump, so you went ahead and you instigated it. And now you want to run again for president. Okay? I'll vote for Mike Pence before I'll vote for you any day of the week. Because at least Mike Pence isn't a radical. He might be a Republican, but he's one of those ones that's like kind of like a Democrat. Okay? And he's a smart guy. And the only reason he had to run against Trump was because Trump didn't have any political experience. He had to walk Trump through some things to get him started as president. He didn't want to deal with Trump. Not at all. I wouldn't. Would you? All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, chain restaurants going out of business, filed for bankruptcy. Now you have Panera Bread just filed for bankruptcy. Panera Bread. You know, that puzzles me. Somebody sticking their hands in a cookie jar. Everybody loves Panera Bread. They go there for coffee. They sit down. They have a little meal. They have a sandwich, a salad. They sit there, meet their friends. They sit there, you know. How in the world does Panera Bread file for bankruptcy? I don't get that. And I don't understand how the restaurants had the best business of their lives last year. Okay. But they're shutting down. They're filing for bankruptcy. They're hurting. What's going on here? Too many hands in the cookie jar? I think so. That's the way I see it tonight. John Fetterman's health. You know, I voted for Big John. I like Big John. I've met Big John. He's a great guy. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned about his health. I'm concerned that he may not be able to make it through this thing. And I hope he does. Because John Fetterman is a great guy. I mean, he cares about things. Unlike others, he cares about people. He cares about people. If he didn't, he would have fixed it. He wouldn't have ran for mayor and fixed Braddock. He wouldn't have had President Obama in Braddock. Okay? You see what I'm saying? It's really interesting. Here's a guy that's and I understand he's having health issues. Why do I think that, Jake? I don't know. And I don't really care. All right? I don't. Giselle Fetterman does her thing. She has a free store. She works for charity. She does a lot. And I don't care what country she came from. I don't care if she came here looking for the American dream like every other person does it. I don't have a problem with, because we Americans are lazy and we don't want to do anything. But you'll complain when you see people from Mexico, Guatemala, India, and all these other things buying businesses and doing this and this and this. Okay? You get mad, you get angry, you get fired up, you get worked up. But you don't do anything about it. And the one thing you need to do is to work. Okay? There's a guy who owns a tomato farm in the middle of the state. This happened about 10 years ago. I'll never forget this. He was paying $16 an hour to pick tomatoes. Couldn't find people. You know why? I'm not working out in the heat picking tomatoes. I want weekends off. I want holidays off. I only want to work a half a day, and then I want to take 2 hours for lunch. So the town that he is in complained because he had immigrant workers. First of all, he can pay them less money. Second of all, they appreciate the work. unlike the average American. All right. I don't have a problem with it because nowadays I've come to the conclusion that our country is lazy. There are so many jobs out there right now, and in a bad inflation, a bad economy, and we're sitting at home on our caboose. Can't collect unemployment, that's gone. I don't know how you're surviving. Maybe you saved money. I doubt it. I don't know how you're surviving. Those of you who are the Xbox fans, the PlayStation fans, you sit at home and you're lazy and you don't want to work. All right. How dare you, Ralph? Talk about people who don't want to work. You don't work. No, I can't work. I'm disabled. I cannot do a gainfully employed job. Okay? I don't make no money doing this. I do this because I like doing this. I don't make any money. I really don't. Okay? But I'm not going to promote people's businesses unless I get paid. All right? I'm having trouble getting sponsors to start my radio show. Why? Oh, it's the way I see it. Oh, he talks about people. I don't like the way he degrades other people. Too bad. Fine. Don't deal with me then. If I take a loss, I take a loss. So boy. Has happened many times. That's the way I see it about John Fetterman. Next, more money for Ukraine. Here we are again. And I know people in Ukraine are suffering. And I know there's people here that have relatives suffering. I understand that. And I'm sorry. All right. But I have a problem when we keep giving billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to this country and our country is broke. We're talking about getting rid of Social Security. We're talking about getting rid of Medicare. There's things that we're talking about doing because we can't survive because of Ukraine. We're giving too much money to them. And NATO, we're back in NATO again, which is one thing I did say, that, and I've said this many times, that Trump was good for. He took us out of NATO. And he was right. These countries are useless. They don't do anything to help us. Oh, wait, Germany and Poland all of a sudden now are starting to put tanks. Oh boy, we're the ones flipping the bill for this war. And we're going broke doing it. And you got these charities on there going on and on about how they're starving people in Ukraine. How's there starving people in Ukraine when we're giving billions and billions of dollars to them? Vladimir Zelensky or Zazuski or whatever his name is sitting there with his brown T-shirt on that he still wears. I guess he doesn't have anything else. I guess it all got, I don't know. Okay. And he's all thankful, or I need more money. And he sticks his hand out like this, and Biden just gives it to him. That's unacceptable to me. Why isn't it unacceptable to you? Jake, you're welcome. Jake says, thanks for being here. Thank you for watching, Jake, and thank you, everybody, for watching. I very, very much appreciate it. Okay? Why do we continue to give billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine? Why isn't anybody doing anything about this? Why isn't anybody saying anything? Why isn't anybody getting on a politician? All right? Especially the ones that are for this. We're just handing the money out. We're just giving it to them. In our country, we need to take care of our own yard, and we need to stop policing these other countries. Okay? When do we say no? Okay, when do we say no? All right? And I want you to go out there and I want you to find the movie the day after. It's about nuclear war. And let me ask you this question. Of course, no one's going to work with anybody because if you watch the movie, nobody cares. Don't worry about themselves. All right. Next. Did you see, other than Canada in that movie, no other country came up and helped us out? And now we have countries like China, North Korea, Iran, Russia, all got nuclear weapons. all doing better than we are, all updating their systems. Okay. These dictators, these leaders, they know that our country right now is weak. And when we're weak now with Biden, we were a joke with Trump. When are we going to meet in the middle here? When are we going to get a president like a Bill Clinton, like a Barack Obama, somebody who's really real, who does a lot for people and says, I'm done with you. Like in the war in Bosnia, we didn't send troops over there. We bombed over there. We went over there with aircraft. Okay. But we didn't give them billions and billions of dollars because we didn't know who to fight with. Watch the movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. All right. Watch that movie one time. That's a true story. The Scott O'Grady story. The pilot got shot down in Bosnia. All right. Do you think Bosnia is going to care if we get blown up? No. So when are you? This is why nobody cares, because nobody does. This is today's America, everybody. And you better wake up and find out. But no, we're smoking pot, drinking booze. We're getting high. We're on dope. We're on heroin, cocaine, all that other stuff. We're too busy worrying about scamming old ladies. We're too busy about scamming people that are picking on mentally retarded and doing all kinds of stuff. But we're not worried about how we're going to protect our country. And we're not worried about the inflation, because if we did, we wouldn't have inflation. That tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the way I see it. East Palestine, Ohio. You know, I feel bad for those folks. And I did criticize them a little bit for crying too much. But you know what? I was wrong. And when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll admit to you I was wrong. East Palestine, Ohio, those folks are having a rough time. I said this many times, Norfolk Southern's a bunch of liars. They don't care. They BS people. And that's a shame. I feel bad for those people. Keep them in your prayers. And keep my nephew, Sean Negley Jr. in your prayers. Al Vento Jr., I salute you. I salute you. It's a cheer for you tonight. Okay? Six, 70 years in East Liberty. And finally retired, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. All right, some of our general topics tonight. Wendy's putting their chili in the stores. Oh, jeez. Wendy's is going to put their chili and they're going to market it in the stores. Wonderful. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Carvana going out of business. Another one because of stock drop. They're filing for bankruptcy. And, you know, Carvana ended up becoming less popular after COVID. During COVID, I know some people that called Carvana and got a car. You sit there, you look online, you don't have to deal with a salesman. You know, nothing against salesmen. I'm for the car salesman, okay? But, you know, Carvana here, somebody, and they were having trouble doing titles wrong. They were having all kinds of problems everywhere, all right? That's the way I see it tonight about Carvana. Next, Pittsburgh Regional Transit is, Pittsburgh Regional Transit's CEO, Catherine Kellerman, got a 20% raise. And you know what? She deserves it too. And I'm not saying that just because I'm the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council. I'm saying it because it's right. Catherine Kellerman has done a lot for the PRT. All right. And she's the CEO. And I'm going to tell you this, how I found out how much of a great, classy woman that she really is. I was at a rally with Pittsburghers for Public Transit downtown when she first got here. And we were having a rally about the fair fare system. Okay. And I was on Channel 11 with Mike Holden, and I was telling him about how it costs money, extra money, you know, you have to dig deeper in your pockets to ride the bus. Okay. And then I saw Catherine Kellerman, introduced myself to her. And then about 6 months later, I was in downtown Pittsburgh. And I don't get to town much no more because I have a vehicle now and I drive. Okay. But when I do get to town, I come out of Rite Aid downtown there on Smithfield, and she held the door open for me, and she remembered my name. And she said, "How are you doing, Ralph?" When was the last time you saw a CEO of a company do that to you? I haven't. She's had a lot to put up with. The flooding of the library line, the derailment down in Station Square, power outages everywhere with the T, just all kinds of stuff that has happened in her tenure. The inclines, all that stuff. Okay? Catherine Kellerman deserves the raise she gets. That's the way I see it tonight. Kraft Heinz is discontinuing its real mayonnaise. They said cost is too high and no demand for it. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Ford Motor Company starting a self-driving vehicle at the old Arco plant in the Strip District, which means jobs are coming back for self-driving cars. All these other companies, and I don't get this, all have decided to shut down because they lost all their grant funding. What, you couldn't survive without it? I don't know much about that stuff, but that's the way I see it. And it's good that they're here. St. Patrick's Day Parade this weekend, March 11th in downtown Pittsburgh. Oh, my. I don't even want to go there. All right. I've seen it from a couple different perspectives. Now, here's the discussion I was having tonight. Panera Bread is going bankrupt. Oh, I can't see this. Panera Bread is going into bankruptcy. Now, I could see a retail store, but not Panera Bread. That's the way I see it tonight. McDonald's is launching a new chicken Big Mac. They're going to make it the same way, but they're going to take the burger meat out, and they're going to take the burger meat out, right? And they're going to put chicken patties in there. It's going to be a chicken Big Mac. All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Walmart closing all stores in Portland, Oregon due to theft. You know, one time many years ago, I knew a bunch of guys, because I used to drive a cab, who went to Portland, Oregon because the economy was booming, the cab driving was great there, and everything else. Now I hear it's a slum. Wow. That's the way I see it tonight about Portland. All Walmart stores in Portland closing up due to theft. That's why they closed the one in Waterworks. And I heard that from the horse's mouth. Yes, I did. And you believed what they released to the news. I didn't. I did some investigating, and I found out that that's not the case. That Walmart over in Waterworks was not producing as far as sales. It was theft. And Walmart now, instead of trying to do something about theft, which they can't because they can't get anybody to work at a Walmart, okay, they're now starting to close the stores down that have high theft. So go ahead, steal from the Walmart. Then you won't have one. Then you'll be like, that community, oh, they're racist against my community because they don't like my community. Because you're thieves. Go ahead and steal. Keep letting the Mon Valley gang steal at the West Mifflin Walmart and North for sales. Keep going. It's going to be closed. What are you going to do? Nothing. Because you don't care. All right, CVS and Walgreens are closing locations as well. Well, Walgreens has sort of, shot themselves in the foot when they went ahead and they started hiring students to become, students to work as pharmacists because all their pharmacists quit during COVID. All right. That's a tough job these days, as they say, but that's the way I see it tonight. And thank you for watching another edition of The Way I See It. We're here every Monday night at 7 p.m. right here on your 4 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, working on getting on the radio, looking for some sponsors. If you are a business and you're looking to help your business, I can help your business by advertising here on this program and all my other shows on RW Media. So give me a call today, 412-990-8448, and I will talk with you about sponsorship on these and also on the radio show. I have nice rates. So please let me know if you're interested. Also, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., I have Jerry DePaula coming on from the Trib Live, possibly, and Avi Greenwald from Miami, Florida, to talk about the Florida teams and what's going on with the Combine, and to talk about the NFL as a whole with some of these coaches. and so on and so forth. The Penguins, the Pirates, and much more. I'm going to be solo tomorrow night. Smoking Jim Frazier's in the hospital. Please pray for Smoking Jim as well as my nephew, as you heard earlier in regards to his accident that he had, and he's in intensive care. Live here from Youngstown, Ohio, I am Ralph Williams. This has been The Way I See It. I will see you tomorrow night for Sports Corner at 8:30 p.m. right here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, 8:30. Best in sports talk here in Sports Corner. Best guest in the world, all across the country and locally as well. All right. Until tomorrow night at 8:30 on Sports Corner, I am Ralph Williams. And until next Monday night on The Way I See It, have a great night and be safe.